Michaels joining us now.
I'm going to start with a bone to pick.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know where we're going with this. But
well, I thought you were a great and good friend, and you come to Los Angeles, my town, and you don't call and you don't write. There's no communication. There's no Morse code. There's no Pony Express. And then it's left to my son to tell me that he runs into you in a restaurant.
Yeah.
At which point I'm thinking, let me get this straight. A few years ago, Costas and I are starring in basketball. You have a cameo, and now you've become the megastar, and I'm nothing but a schlepper. When did we cross over?
I didn't try to big time you, but I was with my daughter, so it was father-daughter trip to L.A.
Right.
So I didn't bring anybody else, didn't factor in anybody else, and I didn't.
Hold on a second. My son said he sees you with like 9 agents, right? And then you probably ran into Rich Eisen, who I love too. But I caught you. I got you red-handed here. This is what the boys will talk about at the end of the show: things they didn't know.
You're
know.
bigger than Rich Eisen, but Rich is needier than you. So I had to go to his house.
Well, now I'm needier than Rich because of what you did to me, the way you did to me.
Okay.
How are you, pal?
Al, let's assume we hung out.
Right.
What would we have done?
You know what we would have done.
We'd have played golf at Bel Air.
Right. We would have had dinner at Toscana. I mean, that's my life, period. It's real simple. I mean, what else is new? I'm a one-trick pony.
I know that. After spending time at the Olympics with you, we pretty much do the same thing every day.
The same thing, and then I name drop. I played golf with Larry David yesterday, and I had dinner with him last night, and tomorrow I'm doing the David Faraday thing for the Golf Channel. So there's some name dropping for you, but that doesn't mean anything to you because you're a big-time guy.
No, it does.
18 guys from CAA at dinner with you.
Al, if I'd have known Larry David was involved, then I would have gone with you.
Well, it's too late.
Is Larry David funny when you're playing golf?
Occasionally. He's very into his golf game and concentrating on each particular shot. But he's good company, and obviously you can't play 4 hours of golf with Larry David and not have a great line. He's special. He's really something very unique and very different, and a great guy, obviously, to have dinner with and talk to. And, he's got all of the same frailties that we do, and it's great. Because, you see it on the show. That show is Curb Your Enthusiasm is one of the greats of all time, as we know.
But I played golf with Bill Murray one time, and Bill wasn't funny.
Well, yeah, Bill looks
he
like
was very serious
about golf. Yeah, well, most guys are. I mean, I've played with comedians, and you get on the course, and all you want to think about is, where your right elbow is in conjunction to, your left kneecap. You know the way golf is. I mean, you're a good golfer. I'm not. I never will be, but I'd love to play the game. But I'm always thinking about, 18 different things.
But give me your dream foursome. So it's you and 3 other guys or 3 other people. Who would be in there? It
would be you and 2 agents from CAA. What do you want me to tell you? I've had my dream foursomes through the years. We finally got Doc Rivers out here. Speaking of Doc, and I try to play as much with Doc as I can, though he's otherwise engaged at the moment with a few other items. Who I used to play with a lot, and I'll really miss him, is Jim Garner. When I first joined Bel Air in the early 90s, Garner and Mac Davis were great pals all the way to the end. And Don Ohlmeyer once looked at the two of them riding together, and he says, "Now there's the happy card," because they were always moaning and groaning and carrying on. But great fun. I'll really miss him. He was a great man.
He's Al Michaels. He's got the Hall of Fame game coming up this weekend, and it'll be the Giants against the Buffalo Bills. It's amazing that we're this close to starting the season. The NFL stays in the news, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I think the season kind of wipes everything to the side, doesn't it, when you think of the NFL?
I can't believe we were in Sochi together, and it's been, 5 months, and people never stop talking about the National Football League. That's what I find to be fascinating, and I think you and I we've talked about this a couple of times on the show, about how the NFL has now become a 365-day-a-year scene. You might only play 16 games that mean anything if your team doesn't get to the playoffs and you're throwing out the preseason games. But the rest of the time, the 349 or whatever days of the year that there are apart from the games you're playing, the fan base is still talking about them. And I, over the last couple of weeks with the season approaching, I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, I can't wait for the season to start. I can't wait. So the NFL's become an amazing animal. It trumps everything, as we know. And, every year is kind of the same in the situation, in the sense that people want to know, hey, who do you think's going to win? And, we don't know who's going to win, and that's the beauty of the NFL right now. You just don't know what's going to happen. You think you might know, and then all kinds of crazy things happen every Sunday and Monday and Thursday this year, and that's why we love it. And it's amazing. It's the best reality television ever.
You have fascinating storylines with the NFL. And it's amazing with Johnny Manziel, who may not start this season, but still, you're going to be in the backyard of the Cleveland Browns there, for the Hall of Fame game.
Right.
How much of a topic do you think will that be a topic during the Hall of Fame game of just Manziel and the Browns?
Probably. I mean, Chris and I will do the game, and we also remember we have all of the inductees who will be interviewed at one point or another. Most of them by Michelle Tafoya during the game. So we have a lot of things that'll be going on, and rolling in some of their induction speeches and the rest, and career highlights and the interviews, and then talking with certain players on both sidelines during the game. So there are a lot of things that we can get to. I'm sure Manziel will be one. It is fascinating how he's become the most talked about guy. I begin to wonder though sometimes. I think Manziel will last. I mean, it depends on what kind of a career he has, what kind of a start he gets off to. But every once in a while, Dan, we've all seen these like shooting stars just come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, what happens to them? For instance, Jeremy Lin. Remember that in New York for what was it, 6 or 7 weeks?
Yeah.
Linsanity. It was crazy. Now he's a good player, and now he's out here on the coast. But I mean, he came and then he went, and he's kind of backing away. So you just don't know. These guys come in with a huge splash, and then we'll see. With Manziel, I don't know. I've never seen him play except on television. Don't know him. We don't have Cleveland on Sunday night this year unless they play very well, and then we wind up flexing them in. But I'm as curious as anybody to see how he fits in. It's just another of the great storylines.
We had Vin Scully on a couple of weeks ago, and he says he's tougher on himself now as a broadcaster because now he looks and says, I could have and I've done it better before. How hard are you on yourself when it comes to calling these games, being a fair critic to yourself in your work?
Very. Maybe worse than ever. And it's so funny, and again, this is not a name drop, but Larry David at dinner last night, one of the topics that came up was, who do you compete against? And I was asking him about, why he left Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's written a play. It'll be in New York. I think it opens up next year in New York. But he may go back to do Curb. And one of the things he felt when he left Curb was that he couldn't be as good as he'd been. And I live in the fear of going on the air and having somebody say what's wrong with him, or what happened to him, or he's degenerating. So every week it's almost as if the mindset is I got to be better than I've ever been. Now, is that possible? Probably not. But I think it's an attitude that you have to have. And I've listened to Vinny my whole life, and I mean he's just spectacular, the greatest baseball announcer that ever lived by far. And I think that's the attitude you have to have, because when I listen to Vin do a game, there's something different. I'll be driving around for 15, 20 minutes, and I've heard him since I was 6 years old, but he's enthralling me. He's talking about something that's making me very interested in listening to him, and that means that he's still doing it at the highest level, and he's still working his butt off. And I mean, that's the attitude you have to have, because yes, I know. Can I phone a game in? Yeah, I've seen enough football games. I've been on television long enough. I kind of know what's going on and all that stuff. But you know what? The fans now, I think, know more than they've ever known because of the Internet, because of social media, because of the proliferation of shows. So they know more than they've ever known, which means you have to know more than you've ever known, and you have to find things that they don't know. So as a consequence, it's a long-winded way of telling you, yeah, when I go on the air, my attitude is I've got to be better than I've ever been, period.
Have fun this weekend. I promise I will not big time you the next time I'm in town.
Oh, boy, yeah. Right. My daughter's out here, but I'm going out to dinner with 19 agents, and I'm going to Rich Eisen's house. And what else? What did you do? Play 9 rounds of golf with Eisen?
No. I didn't play golf. I didn't do anything. Eisen guilted me into coming over to spend time with him and his wife and kids.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got an unlisted number. The hell with you.
Thanks, Al.
All right, pal. Take care. See you soon.
Okay. Al Michaels, man.